What's up, Wargamers? Welcome back to World of Wargaming, and welcome to the last game of the Wolf and the Devil scenario. Now, a little backstory, because there was a story 6 before we got here, where we beat the Wolf, we went deeper into the cave, we came to this dojo, where we currently stand in the garden of, where we have all of these half-Oni training, and we're made an offer by the witness to join the School of Corruption, nor perish. And I, of course, being no silver-blooded witch, said no, Mr. Kibitsuji. I don't want to become a half-demon warrior for the cause of whatever. No, thank you. I don't want to do that. I want to keep my humanity and just murder demons. So now he flipped out. He didn't like my answer. So now he has demanded satisfaction in the form of fisticuffs, and I think he might get it because he's an absolute beast. Maybe I should have just gone through with the ritual. Before we get into it, though, if you have not considered smashing the buttons, the hunters could really use that support right now. So please consider smashing the buttons, leaving a comment. Help us out because we're going to need it. We're going to get it cracking with Honda making a double move, taking him to the base of the bridge. Geisha will move up and then attempt to rouse the warriors. Time for a test. So when we test in Hametsu, if you're new, I highly recommend going to check out the whole playlist for the whole campaign. But if you're new, you roll a d6 for every point you have in the stat. My mind is 7. And I'm looking for 4 successes. A success is a 4, 5, or 6. In the tray. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we do get it off, and we're going to give ourselves +1 mind. So that'll hit all the heroes in a 12-inch bubble around me. Toby will double move. Otagi will move east and take a shot up in the corner. He's got a 24-inch range. Fortunately, because I moved, I do not get my bonuses. Successes against resilience 5. That's cocked. It's not in the tray. There we go. So blocks 2 of them, takes 8. For clarity, he's got 200 health points. And at half of those health points, he summons the wolf back to play. Devil, we roll 2d6 and then consult the chart. So we got a 3 and a 6. Doesn't matter because he's not in range of anything. The 3, however, does. He vanishes into blackness. End of the next player turn, he will come in behind a random hunter in base contact. So that's fun. The only way that I can potentially counter that is if I can get everybody grouped up together facing out. That way there's nowhere to put him where he is behind anybody. Which is, I think, the play. So Sumo's going to fall back and drop the Sacred Doya. Everybody moves into a tight back-to-back formation. The Geisha will try to sing her song again. Failure. Fortunately, again, the devil is unable to get behind me, so at least I'm not going to be taking criticals. He's going to do a 1 and a 5. The 1 is he teleports into base contact with the closest enemy hunter. He's already in base contact, so I think that's fine. I think he'll stay where he is, and he'll swing. It's so freaking hard. 1 success. Resilience 3. Yeah, I'm going to take the 6 right there. Comes back to me. The devil also heals for 2 damage before it comes back to me. And we're going to start with the Geisha, trying to rouse the blades, which we do not do. We're then going to try to sing a piercing song, which is mind 4 as well. 3, we do not. Mind 4 is tough. He has an utterly useless turn. We'll go to the Matagi, who's just going to dump shots into this dude. First volley. Decent. Let's see what he blocks. 3 of them. Still takes 10 damage. No crack. 4 of them takes 5 damage. Second volley. We're going to use some divine favor here. He's got 1 to burn. Worth it. Resilience 5, since I didn't get my piercing song off. Blocks 3, takes 15. So that was okay. Could have gone a lot better from him, but I'll take it. Shinobi's going to move around to the backside, staying out of his inch bubble, and then let loose on him at melee 6. I'm going to use my Bardic Inspiration equivalent from the Geisha to let her burn 1 of her Divine Favor on him. Okay. Resilience 5 on the block. Blocks 3 of them. That's unfortunate. So that one that goes through, since it's a critical, it does deal 9 damage. But if a bunch of those had gone through, it would have really helped the DPS race. Sumo is going to have to, I think, come out of his dojo. He's still technically within. He's not all the way wholly out of his dojo, so I think he still gets his bonus. But he's not going to help a whole bunch. As a boss, I can't grapple it. So a bunch of my skill set's not going to be helpful here. Blocks it all. It's double 5s for its activation. Double heal. So first heal for 9 damage. Second heal for 11 damage. So heals 20 damage total, which is a bummer, as that's a big chunk of the damage that I've done. But he doesn't hit me. He doesn't hit any of my friends. So we're going to carry on. We're going to go to our Geisha. I'm going to try to use this opportunity to get this piercing song off. We're going to use our last Divine Intervention. We really need this to go off right here. We got a good opportunity to put some good damage on this dude. Okay, so we get that. So he's -2 resilience. And then we're going to go with a Soothing Serenade. So we get it, but then we have to roll another dice. It only has an effect on a 5 or a 6. No effect. I did that wrong in the last game with the wolf. I'm going to do it right this time. That's okay, because I think that him having less res is deeply going to play into my favor here. First shot from Sawada Masato, the Matagi. You gotta be kidding me. And this is how you repay me, guys? Yeah, of course he blocks that. Let's try that again, but much better this time. I guess anything is much better than 1 success. So, yeah. Blocks 2 of it. Takes... Oh, wait. I had other... Hold on. I have 1 more dice to roll on each of those attacks. He still would have blocked that. He had 2 successes on the first one, and that one is a failure. So that doesn't matter. And then... their base 4 plus 1 because I didn't move, so that's 10 damage. And then our Shinobi, who I'm hoping will just shine bright here. Shine like a diamond, baby. Alright, so 3 hits. 2 blocks, 9 damage. Second swing. 3 hits, so average. 1 block, so that's 18 more. Will present an intimidating display, which causes a mind 3 test on the part of the devil, which he fails. So he's -1 melee, which may or may not affect things. And then we're gonna take a swing at our melee 7. It's 3. Blocks 2, takes 4. At that point, I'm done. So we'll see, roll our 2 dice and see what the devil does. 2 and 3. 2 is going to be an attack against the furthest, which will probably be the Matagi. They're all pretty close to him, but he's slightly further. And then the 3 will be him vanishing into the shadows. So the spell is a mind test from the demon, first of all. He gets 2 successes. I then have to take a mind test against that number of successes. So I need 2 successes here, and I have a mind of 3. I fail, so I take damage equal to the distance rounded up, which means I'm over an inch away from him, a little over an inch away from him, so we'll call that 2 inches, 2 damage. And then vanishes into the shadow, leaving me to once again regroup and prepare for his return. So we're going to get everybody piled back into the dojo and try to sing a song. I'm not going to have the geisha sing a song because there's nothing here that's really useful. I am, however, gonna lay some traps down. We're going to put a tripwire right there just to see how this goes when he comes back. So end of the turn, he's going to pop up in front of one of them. I've been rolling a d4, 4, on Shinobi, which will, though, trigger the tripwire, which is treated as 4 successes at 4 damage each. Current res 5. Blocks 2 of them, takes 8. And then we'll see what he does. 1 and 5, so it's going to be something and a heal. I think it's a melee attack and a heal. It is a melee attack and a heal. Only gets 2. Okay. Res 3 on the Shinobi. Really need to block both of these. Yes, let's go. And on that 5, he will heal himself. For 9, that's a big chunk. So we're going to open up with Bard, who's going to try to sing her resistance song. Her resilience, anti-resilience song. Nope. And then she's going to try to rouse the warriors, which she does. So we're going to go +1 range. Matagi has to adjust his positioning to shoot because the demon is currently in his back arc. Moving over to put his back against the wall and take a shot at the devil. Alright, need a good shot here. Blocks 3 of them, so 8 damage. Shinobi's going to take a swing and then use his Master of Hiding to try to disappear. Just poof, ninja, vanish. Swing first, because even on not a crit, my Tonto still hits pretty hard. Blocks 3 of them, takes 6. And then let's see if we vanish. I'm 3, but I gain an additional d6 when taking the hide action. We do it. Leaving a gap for Honda to push in. His fist pushing. He blocks every bit of it. Bringing us back to the devil, who's going to get a 3 and a 6. So he's going to explode with energy. Every hunter within 6, which is all 3 of the ones that are on the board currently, saves against 5 successes at damage 6. Alright, so we'll start with Honda, who's resilience 5. He has a divine favor. Okay, so that's 12 damage. The Matagi has 3 resilience. So he's going to take 24 which is enough to body him out. Geisha is resilience 3. She'll take 4 of them, which is 24, which is enough to body her out. Oh, okay, and then he'll disappear. And then my shinobi at the end of the enemy phase will reappear. Stick him right there, I guess. And I've done 58 damage to him out of his 200 health. And at half of his health, the wolf would come back. There's no way. There's no way. So we're gonna failure. Abject failure. I should have just gone to the ritual instead of standing on my principles. But, you know, choices have consequences. That's the beauty of life, and especially of games, because we don't have to suffer the real life consequences of our choices. But I'm gonna pull them out. There's no way Sumo and Lone Shinobi are chewing through that much health. That explosion thing is crazy. So once again, we get nothing. I will roll to see what happens to the other two, because I may continue the game in just its regular monster hunting form. I think my group composition was not great for this. The Sumo is useless in a lot of the scenarios in this campaign, because many of them deal with just straight to a boss fight, where he may not be useless. Let me rephrase that. He may not be useless, but the choices that I made with him as far as his levels for the things that I thought were going to be good were not probably the best choices, but I still think that a Ronin or a Gaijin would be stronger from the School of Strength and more helpful overall in the campaign. The Shinobi got good. He was really rough. The Matagi stood strong pretty much the whole campaign and did good work. 10 out of 10 would take one of those again, or in a new group or whatever. That would, I feel like, always be a go-to. The Geisha, once I figured her out, is very strong. She's a really, really good support character. Her abilities are a little bit difficult to get off. Being mind 4 on 6 dice or even on 7 dice, as we saw today, is tough. So while I think she's very strong, I think some of the abilities are very difficult to make good use of. And good use is the wrong word there, because anytime you can get it off in the situation, it's going to be good use. What I mean to say there is consistent use of it. But again, I missed out on a lot of levels across the course of the campaign. If I had been able to get those, 2 to 4 levels that I missed on because of failing the scenarios, it would have gone better. And then that goes back to, well, if I'd had a different group composition in the beginning, maybe that would have gone better. So I may play through it again off camera just for myself at some point. But yeah, I think the campaign is solid. I think the storytelling is great. And of course, I love the setting. But my playthrough was a lot of me getting my teeth kicked in. And that's, the way it goes sometimes. Anyways, let me roll, see what happens to these two guys. For the Matagi, a 5 goes to a 7. He has a dislocated joint. -1 ranged and melee permanently. And for the Geisha, 1 goes to 3 concussion, -1 mind, but just for the next game. Okay, so nobody dies. I'll take that. So like I said, I definitely want to keep playing, because I haven't played really any of the standard monsters from the book. But I'm going to shuffle around my group composition. I don't think I'm going to auto level anybody. I think I'm going to bring them in as like a fresh hunter, and bring them up that way. Sumo's got to go. I got to try something different in that slot. And I may drop out the Shinobi too. He may become a hunter in the wings. We'll come back and talk to him in the Hidden Leaf Valley when we need him. But anyways, that's it for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm rambling. Thanks so much for tuning in, hanging out for the last game of the Wolf and the Devil scenario, which, while anticlimactic, was not unexpected. Thank you so much. Have an absolutely amazing rest of your day.